What's up with it? You watching the Bang Bomber TV? Yeah, we about to check out this video from the YouTube channel Hip Hop Madness, and the title is Why Dr. Dre Never Respected the Game. Yeah, man, I think Dre respected the game once upon a time, you know what I'm saying? But yeah, the game kind of had burnt bridges though, you know, because Dre put him in position with G Unit, then he turned on G Unit, started dissing G Unit, you know what I'm saying? Then shit, he started dissing Eminem and shit too, you know what I'm saying? So I'm pretty sure Dre probably feels some kind of way about that nigga now, you know what I'm saying? But shit, let's check out the video and see what they talking about.
Pop Out concert was a triumphant moment for West Coast rap. The exclusion of the game speaks volumes for how far he's fallen in the eyes of his peers and his mentor, Dr. Dre. Judging Game on his antics over the last few years, you could be forgiven for forgetting just how pivotal he was to West Coast rap in the post-Death Row era. Because back in 2005, the Game almost single-handedly resurrected the coast. 5 times platinum, critically acclaimed, and Grammy-nominated, the Game's debut album, The Documentary, is undoubtedly one of the best hip-hop albums of all time. Essentially, if the mission was to bring LA rap back to the forefront, it was a flawless victory. But things went wrong, very wrong. And today, it seems the Game is a rapper Dr. Dre would rather erase from his legacy. So how does a rapper who was capable of so much musically and culturally end up snubbed and shunned by the man who gave him a shot and launched his career? Let's find out. Signed in 2003 to a joint venture with Interscope and Aftermath, Dr. Dre basically equipped the Game with every tool to succeed. With a co-sign from Dre, a star-studded feature lineup, and a brief but impactful alliance with 50 Cent and G Unit, which was actually orchestrated by Dre and Jimmy Iovine, the Game's debut album, The Documentary, was destined to be a success, and that's exactly what it went on to become. With the success of The Documentary and 50 Cent becoming the most profitable artists in the game at the time, it seemed like Dre's new stable of artists were ready to take over the industry together. But Game's relationship with 50 took a turn, and after a very public beef, Game's departure from G Unit would put the first major strain on his relationship with Dre. And with so many millions of dollars at stake, Dre had to make a business decision that pretty much sabotaged his work with the Game.
I ain't gonna lie, the Documentary album though, that shit super classic. Like, I still play that shit to this day, you know what I'm saying? That motherfucker was a banger for real. Real classic, West Coast classic album for sure.
Financially and infrastructurally, he had to take sides with who Jimmy took sides with, which was 50. It made sense because that's where the bulk of the money was being made. And so at that point, you didn't want to 50 off because he was the breadwinner. Everybody chose sides, but I did the doctor's advocate. No one thought it was coming out. They thought I was done until one night in New York when I recorded One Blood. And I went to Funk Flex, and I went to Clue, and I went to K-Slay, Angie, and I went to every club, linked up with Jim. He took me to Harlem. We dropped it off in every club. I walked in every club, I bought bottles in every club, and I made One Blood crush. So by the time I got back to the West Coast, they were begging me to finish the album. And that's where me and 50's relationship really went left, because he didn't like the support that I was getting from the building.
Proving that he could stand on his own 2 feet with 2006's The Doctor's Advocate, which was released just a year after his debut, the Game did the near impossible by proving to the world that he could still deliver a stellar album without either Dre's guiding hand or 50 essentially handing him a whole host of hooks on some of the biggest records on the documentary. But
I ain't gonna lie, I will give the Game the most successful solo artist out of G Unit other than 50 though, you know what I'm saying? Like, he really did put in some work. He did his thing. I ain't gonna lie about that.
But behind the scenes, it turns out Dre and the Game still had a healthy relationship, because by the time 2011's The Red album released, Game revealed that Dre was still giving him vital feedback.
Just because Dre wasn't on the production side of my second and third album doesn't mean that I didn't talk to Dre. Me and Dre had the same relationship. Dre always told me, no matter what happens, no matter what is said in the media, me and you are always going to be the same as we were the last time we had an in-person conversation.
Right, because I think in 2010, you posted a picture where you're wearing a bunch of Aftermath chains, and you say, it's funny how things come full circle. Didn't you say you're going back to Aftermath at that point?
No, it was basically, that was my ode to Dre, just saying that, like, I'm always going to be Aftermath no matter what.
And for years, this was the Game's outlook when it came to Dr. Dre. No matter how long he went without being officially signed to him, Game maintained an unwavering loyalty to Dre in a way that he's never really exhibited to anybody. And even if he admitted that there were some tense moments, the gratitude overshadowed it.
And sometimes Dre me off, man. And sometimes I Dre off. But that's one of them things. Dre told me a long time ago, me and you are always going to be the way that we left off. Whatever happens in between, all of that.
That's
I got
what
nothing but
family is.
love for Dre, man. Everything that he did for me, I'm very appreciative.
At times, he even flexed that he could get him on the phone at a moment's notice during interviews. But these days, that call would likely ring out, and that's because the game has systematically ruined his ties with the Doc and the whole Aftermath family. And what's more, this could have all been avoided if he wasn't so controlled by emotion in an industry that requires strategy and thought. So when he only briefly appeared on one track from Dre's Compton LP, some fans did find this a tad bit strange. However, when it was announced that Dre would oversee the Super Bowl halftime show in 2022, it was expected that he'd play a career-spanning set which featured many of the artists he'd mentored. On the big night,
Man.
he brought out Snoop, Eminem, Anderson .Paak, Kendrick Lamar, and a slightly chubby 50 Cent.
Yeah, I ain't gonna lie, man. The game didn't like that. He was hella sad he ain't get invited to that. And it was on the West Coast too, you know what I'm saying? I think he should have got invited though, to be honest with you know what I'm saying? But shit, maybe he been doing too much weird shit, you know what I mean?
Meanwhile, the Game was left on the sidelines in his own city. To begin with, Game kept it civil and acted like it didn't faze him at all. I ain't had no conversations with nobody regarding Jay-Z and the Super Bowl halftime show he put together. He wrote on IG, I don't feel no way about not being included. It was a great show featuring iconic artists. It was a win for the culture. And in other interviews, he seemed to try to shift the blame to Jay as opposed to Dre.
You got to look at the Super Bowl, right? Hov put it together, and so he picked the artist that he thought was fit for the Super Bowl that he was in charge of putting together, right?
But with everything we know about Game's mindset, it seemed like only a matter of time until it all spilled out. And finally, he admitted that it got to him.
Snoop is an icon.
Man.
Dre is an icon. M is an icon, but M is not from LA. 50 is not from LA. And I'm not taking away from the fact that they were on the Super Bowl, but LA have been on a Detroit Super Bowl or a New York Super Bowl. It just wouldn't have happened. LA all around the Super Bowl, and I don't get the call.
From that moment,
I ain't gonna lie, I think that boy probably was wearing that mask at the Drink Champs interview because he probably ain't want to be seen looking stupid, you know niggas be having that stupid look on their face when they hurt and shit, you know what I'm saying? He probably was that hurt about that shit till he knew he was gonna look stupid talking about it.
went on, a switch was flicked, and the floodgates were now open for the Game to finally cross the line that he'd never had before, and that was to discredit Dr. Dre. Suddenly, the rapper who had previously written a heartfelt tribute to Dre on his second album was now downplaying Dre's impact on his career and life as if it were nothing.
Dre didn't do any beats on the documentary, but I didn't say he didn't oversee it. You want Dre to oversee anything because he's a mastermind when it comes to that. But as far as like doing a beat for the documentary, no. And I've never had a Dre beat in my career. I've never had a song with Dre on it and Dre been in my video. Snoop has a ton. M has a ton. I don't have none.
Soon, he was
I ain't gonna lie, man. That nigga kinda is acting like a female kinda. You know what I'm saying? Like, nigga, you gotta stand on your own too. You know what I'm saying? A nigga can't be there with you all the time and holding your hand and guiding you through shit. You know what I'm saying? Nigga, you gotta be your own man too, nigga, and stand on your own. He kinda like, he seemed like he was trying to be dependent on Dre. You know what I'm saying? And it ain't like that. Dre work at his own pace. And shit, we just fans. We know that.
was claiming that Kanye West, a man who Game had openly beefed with over writing explicit lyrics about Ye's then-wife, Kim Kardashian, had done more for his career than Dre ever did.
It's crazy that Ye did more for me in the last 2 weeks than Dre did for me my whole career.
Naturally, the
He
world
definitely
collectively
acted like
eye-rolled
Lil
at
Ho.
this comment, while those who were there firsthand at Aftermath made sure to tell everybody he was out of pocket.
When you see Game say, yo, Dre never did nothing for me. I remember Dre being in the studio and giving you them hits, bro.
Suddenly doing to Dre what he'd done to so many others before, Game had now disparaged the man who signed him in front of the whole world. And with that, he had come to terms with the fact that one drunken rant cost him his most valued connection in hip-hop. And now he's tried to walk it back while trying to save face at the same time.
So basically, I was a little inebriated, and I said some things that I meant. I'm not gonna take it back. I ain't no sucker. But having Dre do anything for your project, anything in your career, touch any part of anything that you're doing in life is such a blessing that I shall not ever on that again. And I haven't talked to Dre since. It don't really matter if we talk again in life. Like, I'm a stand-up, Compton, LA, and it is what it is. It's just that I should have gave him more grace with what he actually did do, and that was mentor me and do things that nobody else could have done for me in my career. When I was talking on there, I was speaking in terms of what Ye was doing right at that moment, which was
life-changing for me. And then I based it on Dre's lack thereof because I took the business part personal and I should have left it business. But Dre is Dre, bro. We all know what Dr. Dre.
Nigga, Dre is rich as fuck, man. You feel me? Dre do what he want to do when he want to do it. You know what I'm saying? Shit, maybe that nigga don't feel like making music and shit. The nigga rich enough to not want to make music. Shit, if he don't want to do it, he don't want to do it. You know what I'm saying? Shit, you got to respect Dre is Dre, nigga. Dre is a big dog, nigga. Real big dog, nigga.
In the aftermath of the Super Bowl snub, Game has clearly internalized a lot of animosity towards Dre, and now he's using it as a lens to explain some of his actions, like saying his diss towards Eminem was just another way to get back at Dre.
Throwing shots at Eminem and beef with Eminem. It was just me being upset with Dr. Dre. Dr. Dre can't out-rap me, so I just went at him, just because that's just how I get sometimes.
If this was an isolated incident, then perhaps Dre would be able to let it go. But in actual fact, it's part of a larger pattern of behavior, which has defined and ultimately destroyed Dre's respect for the game. Because just like he went at M as a proxy for Dre, Game has also sought to undermine Kendrick in ways that land somewhere between jealousy and anger over how he feels Dre has overlooked him. Saluted on Black Boy Fly by Kendrick as a rapper he'd always looked up to, Game was there when the torch was passed to K-Dot by Snoop. Over the years, Kendrick collaborated with the Game on several tracks, and by all accounts, it looked like these two West Coast artists were on good terms. But what was notable is that at every turn, whether in the spirit of competitiveness or jealousy, it's as though the Game has tried to downplay Kendrick's skills.
Can't nobody in Compton out rap Game. Kendrick do it. I love that to death. I flew past Kendrick when that was on foot in a Range Rover and showed him how to do it. Don't play with Game, man. Hardest in Compton, rapping, lyricist, me.
Once again, the Game has let liquor do the talking and fostered a potential problem with a fellow protege of Dre. And while this may have potentially contributed to Dre's gradual distancing from the Game, what really didn't help his case was refusing to stand by the West Coast when it came to the Kendrick and Drake beef. While Dre was out there providing the intro to Not Like Us, the Game actively took Drake's side. This isn't anything new though, because previously, the Game sat on the fence and claimed that Drake didn't take shots at Kendrick on their collab track 100.
Yeah, I didn't feel like that, and if I did, I wouldn't put a song out. Like I said, Kendrick's my brother. I love him too. But if Drake was subliminal and slick,
he's slick with that.
Again, like he one of the best that ever do it. So it's hip hop.
Now, no one is saying that the Game can't openly support Drake, but with subliminal shots this obvious, it does raise some eyebrows. But things go further.
Yeah, I ain't gonna lie, Game might be low-key hating on Kendrick for real. I think Game like music more street, you know what I'm saying? But like Kendrick music is kind of down there deeper though, for real though. You know what I'm saying? You gotta listen to his shit, and you know what I mean. But yeah, I think Kendrick definitely is a deeper artist than the Game though. But Game more gangster though.
Recently, the Game basically initiated himself into Drizzy's OVO camp when at the height of the K-Dot beef, he took to IG and played Drake's Enemy from 2015 alongside the caption, "Too many fake rappers I gotta pretend I liked." Later, he admitted that it came down to the fact that he saw Drake as his brother. However, some wondered if he was still so embittered towards Dre and the Aftermath camp that he was now renouncing his Compton roots. And when he wasn't in attendance at Kendrick's pop-out show that essentially unified the West Coast, people started asking questions.
My DMs and all on these blog sites and whatnot, talking about the West Coast ain't with you, and you ain't this, and you ain't that, and you siding with this. As far as my relationship with Drake, Drake is my brother. My loyalty is what mother is loyal to me. Don't put my name in unless you hear me say it. Anybody that know me know I ain't got no mother problem saying how I feel about no. And Drake, that's my mother brother. And Kendrick, that's the homie, he know what it is.
Despite Game's attempts to control his narrative, it's easy to see why Dre no longer respects him. From dissing nearly every major rapper associated with Aftermath, along with his unpredictable nature, Dre has learned that dealing with the Game comes with a whole host of potential hazards, with disloyalty and ungratefulness being chief among them. And honestly, we don't blame him.
Man, yeah, it seemed like the Game emotions probably got the better of him, you know what I'm saying? Then like he think Dre supposed to jump when you need something done, nigga. Dre is made, Dre is paid. You probably the nigga that needs some money. Dre don't need no money from the rap shit, you know what I'm saying? So shit, you probably gotta catch him at the right time to get him to do anything. You feel me? Shit, nigga probably got a schedule. You feel me? But shit, let me know what y'all think about this video though, man. Why y'all think Dre really don't fuck with the game no more like that? You know what I'm saying? Until next time, peace.